Oh boy, did the CBC screw up the other day. Huge factual error, clear attempt to interfere with an election, disinformation, meddling, fake news, the sort of things they accuse others of doing. The CBC has a series they call Fact Check. By the way, they make this habit of checking other people's facts. I wish they would check their own. It's a sly move, this whole fact check business, because it pretends that they're a referee, not a player in the ongoing game of political persuasion and manipulation. Imagine the chutzpah of a government journalist at the CBC state broadcaster setting himself up as an arbiter of what's true or not. And yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. Fact check. Andrew Scheer torques study in claim about the new NAFTA deal by Jonathan Gatehouse. Conservative leader's interpretation not accurate, says economist. Fact check. Why Andrew Scheer's climate plan won't hit Canada's Paris targets by Jonathan Gatehouse. Fact check. Maxime Bernier's false claim about Canada's subsidized immigrants by Jonathan Gatehouse. Yeah, I'm starting to see a trend here by fact check. The CBC really means liberal war room talking points, going out and discrediting the enemies of Justin Trudeau by trying to dig up some economist somewhere who disagrees with a conservative and calling that a fact check. That ain't fact checking. That's just arguing. This is fine. That's being a player in the game while pretending you're a referee. You ain't. I'll tell you about the CBC's fact checking error in a moment. But seriously, I mean, isn't every journalist a fact checker? I mean, I check my facts, and I try to show you that by putting on the screen my primary sources for things. I just showed you 3 pictures of the fact check on the CBC's website, so you can check my facts in real time. I hope. Sometimes I just show you a headline, sometimes a chart, sometimes a video clip of someone saying something or showing something. That's the fun of TV. As you talk, you can provide little factual proof points online. Websites can link to an underlying fact. Newspapers are a bit different. You have to take their word for it that they quoted someone accurately. Of course, they can show pictures in a newspaper. My point is, what is a journalist who says they're a fact checker? Well, it's just a critic, really. I mean, half of the journalism I do is checking the facts on someone else. Justin Trudeau say, I often check the facts on leftist media like the CBC say. Aren't we all fact checkers? And don't we sometimes disagree on which facts are facts? And that's the fun of it. That's the freedom of it. I mean, the Liberals say the Conservatives have their facts wrong and vice versa. And in the end, we need an election to sort it all out. As in, there's no definitive answer sometimes because what's so often being argued about is opinion and interpretation. So if the CBC fact checks me, they're probably just giving their opinion on my politics and vice versa. Usually our facts are right, it's the opinions we quarrel with. So let's fact check the government journalists at Trudeau's CBC state broadcaster just for a second. The ones who have so much to say about conservatives. Oh, and they love calling conservative media fake news, don't they? Well, let's look at this. You see this tweet? NDP and PCs in dead heat heading into Manitoba election, poll suggests. Whoa, is that true? An incumbent Conservative premier on the ropes and the rump NDP, those losers, a party led by a leader who is, shall we say, a bit physical when it comes to the lady folk. Yeah, call me a skeptic that they're tied in the polls. Let me quote. Despite leading in the polls since their election in 2016, Brian Pallister's Progressive Conservatives have fallen into a dead heat with Wab Kinu's NDP right at the beginning of the 2019 provincial election, reads the report out Friday from polling firm Converso. Wow, it's a dead heat, eh? Let me read some more. Converso. Poll placed PCs at 31%, NDP at 30%, Liberals at 11%, Greens at 6%, undecided at 15%. Converso. The name you know in polls, Converso. The name you trust. I mean, it's got to be true. Converso. We all know Converso polls. I mean, come on, Converso. Yeah, no, it was fake. Fake news by a pollster that, well, no one seems to have heard of before. I mean, that's cool. Even Gallup polls had their first poll once, they were new once, but to run a screaming headline that the Tories were doomed and the NDP were in the lead by Converso, a polling company no one seemed to have heard of. Some people might be skeptical, might think that's fake news, because it was. The very next day, converso. The pollster in question, they admitted that they got their numbers wrong. Oh, whoopsies. And so the CBC sheepishly changed their headline. Look at what they changed it to. The day later, pollster says there's a data issue with survey suggesting Manitoba PCs and NDP are in a dead heat. That's their second headline. They deleted their first headline. The original one was what I showed you in the tweet. NDP and PCs in dead heat heading into Manitoba election, poll suggests. Pollster says there's a data issue. Yeah, that's the CBC state broadcaster trying to cover their tracks, trying to hide the fact that they were in on it. They ran with it. They absolutely repeated and magnified the fake poll at a time of maximum impact. And now they're saying, oh yeah, you know that pollster guy, converso. He says there's a data issue. And I'm sure there was a data issue, but there's a fake news issue, and that's the state broadcaster's problem, isn't it? They so lusted for this story, they didn't bother to check it because it was too good to check. They just really want to believe that the NDP is about to come back and the Manitobans love the carbon tax and the Tories are done. Yeah, no. But sorry to ask, I mean, I don't mean to be a stickler, but where's Jonathan Gatehouse's fact check? Where are the self-righteous media critics and fact checker? Where's Snopes? That left-wing fact-checking site? They're so awful. You know, there are some satirical sites on the internet, good for some laughs. The other day I showed you a quick clip from The Onion. Well, there's a slightly Christian satirical site called The Babylon Bee. It's pretty funny, you know. But you know it's a parody, right? Like humor. They make jokes. You know, this one's a joke, right? You know, I mean, that's a joke, right? You can tell that. Well, Snopes, the left-wing fact checker, hates the fact that people click on these funny conservative Christian jokes. And so Snopes have literally taken to fact-checking the Babylon Bee. Stories published by the Babylon Bee are amongst the most shared factually inaccurate content in almost every survey of this research. Yeah, mate, they're sharing jokes. They know they're jokes. You know they're jokes. Look at this one. Portland police. We wish there were some kind of organized armed force that could fight back against Antifa. Now you know that's a joke. It's funny because real life is absurd as a joke these days. That's where the laughs come in. I don't think anyone actually believed the Portland police said that, but Snopes is literally fact-checking those jokes out. Hey, I just flew in from Toronto and boy, are my arms tired. Fact check. Actually, no, you didn't fly in with your own arms. You flew in on a plane. Yeah, that's a joke, buddy. I love this response. Snopes rates Babylon Bee world's most accurate news source. That's a joke. But I'm guessing Snopes fact-checked that one too. Hey guys, maybe we can get Snopes to fact-check Star Wars or the Superman movies, because those didn't quite seem right to me. I suppose it's easier than, say, fact-checking whether or not, I don't know, Jeffrey Epstein, that pedophile financier, actually killed himself in prison. You know, something we could actually use a good fact-check on. You keep going after the Babylon Bee. So the CBC ran a fake news poll, and when it was revealed to be fake news, they faked their own headline by pretending it was different. They changed it to pretend they knew all along it was fake, and they blamed the pollster. And yes, he deserved blame for the poll, but they were the fools who ran with it because they loved what it said too much to check. Fake, fake, fakeity fake. But look at this. Right after the bombshell last week about Justin Trudeau being convicted of breaking the Conflict of Interest Act for pressuring the Attorney General to drop criminal charges against his friends at SNC Lavalin, like that's a huge story. Look at the poll that CTV released about corruption of Ontario Conservative Premier Doug Ford. Exclusive! New poll suggests voters haven't forgotten about patronage appointment scandal. Huh? More. The poll, given exclusively to CTV News Toronto, shows 56% of respondents perceive the Doug Ford government as being corrupt. Hey guys, it's an exclusive. The poll was given exclusively to CTV, so they didn't actually commission it. They just, are running with it. Someone gave it to them, like the CBC ran with that Manitoba poll. Also curiously timed, all these are timed to change the subject away from Trudeau breaking the law. Okay, fine, I'll bite. Who is behind this weird poll that was given to the CTV? Who gave it to them? Well, let's read the story first. Here's from the CTV story. The Corbett Communications survey given exclusively to CTV News Toronto shows 56% of respondents perceive the Doug Ford government as being corrupt, while 62% believe too many cronies of the Premier have jobs in government. Now, first of all, don't you wish someone might have actually asked these questions about Justin Trudeau the day after he was convicted of breaking the law for corruption? That would be a great fact check. Let's check the facts to see what they are. Did Trudeau really do nothing wrong, as he continues to claim? What do the public think? We can't ask that, though. So who commissioned this poll? Who was it? That same no-name pollster in Manitoba, Converso. It was too good to check? No. It was Corbett Communications, run by this guy, John Corbett. And he's got a lot to say. He says, I'm a pollster. I'm a professional. I've been doing it for 35 years. I'm supposed to be opinion-free and unbiased, but I will no longer listen to lies and call them something else. Andrew Scheer's lying to Canadians. He is breeding discord and hate just for votes. Yeah, John, those are the things you put in your diary. You don't tell people those things. If you are professional, you don't say crazy things like that. Non-biased, professional, independent, just the facts? Yeah, you're a bit off, mate. Not just crazy in a neutral way, like, I don't know, you believe in aliens. You're partisan crazy. You're extremely biased about politics. You're a little bit mad, I think, which is exactly the one thing the public expects you to be neutral on, or at least fair on. But hey, just keep pretending that the fake news is on the right or on the independent side of the media. Fake poll on CBC, fake poll on CTV. Not a peep from the fact checkers. It's almost like they're part of an agenda. It's almost like Justin Trudeau is giving hundreds of millions of dollars to the media bailout to rent these journalists and their pollsters during the election. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day I do a video monologue and then I interview an interesting guest. And then I end by reading my hate mail, but you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.